Loud Esmond for Winners and Whiners. Here's your Week 8 recap and Week 9 predictions as far as USFL goes. And by the way, the USFL has a betting problem, and I'll get into that in just a minute. First, the good news. Our one pick that we absolutely nailed last week, the Generals beat a big spread, beating the Maulers 29-18. QB Luis Perez of the Generals continues efficient play, went 220 with a touchdown. Their running back is doing well, as always. Darius Victor, 3 touchdowns for 87 yards. Pittsburgh played okay in the first half, kept it kind of close, but the Generals, like I said, just too good and easily covered the large spread. Then we start getting into the problems. Well, I had the Panthers staying close to the Stars, who hadn't played all that well. The Panthers had found a little something with their quarterback that had come in the week before, Josh Love. He didn't turn the ball over. They kept the game reasonably close. And I expected he would start again this week. But no. Does Jeff Fisher, that genius, stick with the hot hand and the guy who almost won him a game? Oh, no. We're going to go back to Paxton Lynch, who played terrible earlier in the season. What does Lynch do? Well, he comes in and he throws the ball to the other team. The Stars ran up and lit up the scoreboard, beating the Panthers 46. I should call them the Panthers. 46-24. Wow. So I'm done. Jeff Fisher and John Elway may be the 2 worst talent evaluators at the quarterback position ever in football, and I'm just going to leave it at that. The Bandits and the Gamblers. Well, here's where the USFL has a gambling problem. They are not keeping the bettors informed well enough. Players that are injured, players whose status change, some quarterback that's suddenly getting all the snaps in practice. Well, when you don't know that information, it makes it harder to bet accurately. QB Clayton Thorson had been playing well for the Gamblers, and we didn't know until the game started that Kenji Behar, no relation to Joy, I don't think, was going to start. This dude comes in, he throws some of the worst passes I've ever seen in a professional football game. I mean, over the receiver, behind the receiver, in the dirt, everywhere but to his receivers. He was an anemic 12 for 21 with less than 100 yards passing. Yuck. This is a pattern the USFL has to fix. Gambling is going to be a big part of their growth, and if they're not going to keep the gamblers informed, people are going to stop betting. Okay, let's get to this week where I think I've got 3 solid picks. They're all chalk, but I have my reasons why as to that is the case. The Generals are taking on the Maulers, and the New Jersey Generals covered easily over the Maulers last week, and the Panthers are not as bad or maybe worse. So they gave up a whopping 46 points to the Stars of Philly last week, and the Generals, although they struggled to score last week, they're a better team than the Panthers by a mile. They should cover a touchdown and a hook against this team easily. We're taking the New Jersey Generals -7.5. Now, Stallions and Gamblers. I was just talking about the struggling second fiddle QB Kenji Behar throwing the ball out of bounds into the dirt over receivers as well as to the other team. They only managed to score 3 points last week. Now they play one of the best teams in the league in the Stallions, probably an even better team than the Generals, and I expect the Stallions are going to run roughshod all over these guys. It's a big spread at 12.5, but the Stallions have covered big spreads a couple of times already this year that we've bet on and won. So I like the Stallions minus the 12.5 here. And then finally, we get the Stars versus the Maulers. I mean, as I said, the Stars scored 46 points last week. And I was waiting for their passing attack to click all season. Their crossing pattern, rub route, complicated pass-happy offense. Wow, did it take off last week. I think it just took this team a long time to learn it. And it looks like they are peaking at the right time. Philly's looking to build momentum going into the playoffs. They were an early season pick to possibly win it all. And they're playing a team that's done. I mean, the Maulers are done. Stick a fork in them. They're cooked. They're a dumpster fire. Whatever term you want to use, they're finished. I expect a 10-plus point win here for the Philly Stars. Expect the Stars to cover the 8.5. So there you have it. Generals minus 7.5, Stallions minus 12.5, Stars minus 8.5. Chalk, 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 chalky picks this week. I'm Loud Esmond for Winners and Winers. That's your USFL betting update.